Hello, I'm Alan Davies, and welcome to As Yet Untitled. Now, tonight I will have 4 guests with no preparation, no script, no rehearsal, no clue, actually, what they're about to talk about. And by the end of the evening's conversation, we will hopefully have come up with an appropriate mantle for the show, which will become the show's title. So without further ado, please welcome our guests. There they all are. I've got Ross Noble here, who once stole a packet of biscuits from Jerry Seinfeld. It's quite a good one.
Yeah.
Liza Tarbuck, who's laying on a bed with David Bowie. Tom Wrigglesworth used to be a tarot card reader. And John Robbins once drank Reginald D. Hunter's wee backstage at a gig.
So, true fact. It was accidentally, it wasn't straight out of his cock. That's no accident.
Oh, because that's what he made me do. Oh, you get the cock. Oh, there's always a favourite, isn't there?
It seems silly not to look further into this initial weed drinking incident.
Well,
John.
So I was doing a gig warming up for him. So you do like 20 minutes.
Hang on, what does that involve?
He was warming you up by the sounds of it.
Oh, lordy. I can taste it now. And I was on stage. I'd been drinking shandy because I'm rock and roll. That was my downfall. And I'd left half a pint of shandy on a table backstage. So I'm on, and Reg is there waiting for me to welcome him on, and suddenly needs a wee, and couldn't go and find a loo because I was at any minute going to go welcome on stage. So he grabbed an empty pint glass because he's clever, and pissed into it about half a pint of nervy pre-gig wee.
Well, all right, the volume is not important.
Well, no, it is,
Well, maybe it
because...
sort of is, because half a pint's interesting.
Yeah.
But then
all the way to the crown. All the way to the crown.
No, it's a pint. It's a pint glass.
It's an imperial half, this one.
It's not covered by the Weights and Measures Act. But then the thing that was my undoing is he put it right next
on
to
a table with drinks on?
No, one other drink right next to mine. So I brought him on stage, and everyone goes crazy, and I, thirsty, gagging for a drink, just pick up what I think is my shandy.
Warm, must be
Warm, very warm, very warm.
When he put it down,
When
he put it down, did he go, find a lady?
I love the way you give him the benefit of the doubt. You think, oh, he needed a wee, he couldn't get to the loo in time. He's there thinking, I know exactly what I'm going to do here. I'm going to leave half a pint of urine and put it next to his
I never
drink.
checked whether they were both piss.
Oh, God, that's horrible. I need to cleanse. Oh, because that happened. There was a gig. I probably shouldn't say what gig it was. All right, it was Madame Jojo's in Soho. There was a gig there, and obviously, you know, there was comedy on one night, and then the rest of the time it was the fellas.
A lot of drag.
A lot of drag, right? And that sounds like a technical term. There's a lot of drag on these performances, a lot of drag. They're not making the distance they should do. They need to tuck more. The speedy. They should have drag racing. They should have actual, just in the full, fully stiletto, fully tucked, ready to go.
What about drag acts in a wind tunnel just to test the actual drag?
Just eyelashes flying up. That'd be amazing. Fully dragged up, and then turn the wind tunnel out. They come out.
I am what I am. And eventually they're just a bloke.
Yeah, and then throw in flat caps and pipes on one end, and then for that, right, son. In fact, that's a show in itself. So, Madame Jojo's with the drag performers. Do you remember them? Back 2 weeks ago.
The anecdote.
So there was stage, but there was no toilets in the backstage area. So what I used to do all the time. I used to go host the show, and I used to go down there, and rather than having to walk and queue with the punters,
You used to host the drag shows?
all the time. I am what I am. I didn't need a wig. No, I used to
You need a shave.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, I used to like to keep them guessing, you know. I used to go out there as a really rough, homeless old woman. And they go, you haven't even tried. No, I have. I'm very feminine normally. It's a woman outside a station shouting at passers-by, right? No, so I used to host the comedy nights in... So anyway, what I started doing was, I can't be bothered going all the way to the toilets. So I used to have a plastic bottle, I'd drink the water, and then I would fill it. I would refill it. It was the circle of life that Elton John sang about. So I'd piss in the bottle, and then I'd put the top on, and there was a cupboard at the back, and I'd put the top on, and I would just... And it was full of, like, broken chairs and all kinds of stuff. So I used to whoosh up the back there, right? Piss grenade up the back.
Oh, the shandy cupboard. That's it. I know.
It had a kiosk onto the street. Oh, that's got a head on it. So I thought nothing of it until there was a break in the shows. Came back. The shows hadn't been on over the summer. I came back in the September to do some more shows, and the whole of the dressing room had been everywhere. There was lockers, and there was new mirrors, and the whole thing.
And a fridge.
And this,
a glass-fronted fridge.
If only. And this cupboard that had been full of broken chairs and just hadn't been used for years, probably since the war, was empty, and it had coats in it and all the rest of it. And I turned to the guy that worked, I said, this is a lovely cupboard, it's all nice and all the rest of it. And this guy, angry yet camp at the same time, he went, it was unbelievable, that cupboard, it was absolutely unbelievable. And I went, what? And he went, there was over 100 bottles of piss in. It wasn't just me doing it, was it? Every performer, as soon as I went out on stage, welcome to the show, everyone. I'll just have a cheeky one, laugh like that. So this thing was...
I'm not even on the bill.
There's people passing by, coming in with crates. They were just coming in. You deliver and drink? No. Laugh. There was piss from all over.
Yeah. Have you ever been stuck in traffic? Because I was stuck in traffic, busting for Pete, and all I had was a bottle of Tropicana. And if there's one thing about bottles of Tropicana, they're suspiciously small.
Is that why?
Yeah.
That's a very narrow neck. I mean, that's precision engineering to get that in.
Neck. It's wider than a Coke bottle.
It's just a bit smaller than you think.
I find them very tight.
Stop.
Very tight.
I didn't wear it like a sock.
I use a Pringles tube there.
I believe that is why at Club Tropicana the drinks are free. I'm not paying for that. Oh, you dirty.
But there's one thing to be said about pissing into a bottle. It's once you start in traffic, once you start, it's impossible to.
Once you pop, you can't stop. That's why you use the Pringles, isn't it? I had a bladder operation, and for some... No, why not? Oh, I've got some stories to tell about the bladder operation, right? Well, when I came to...
Choose one. Just choose one, please.
There's a whole evening of... The
bladder years.
Oh, God. I'll tell you what.
There were over 100 bottles of water in there.
When I came to, I was aware that they had... I had a piss bag in, right? They'd cathetered me.
That's my dream,
right?
Because I can only get 5 hours a night because of an enlarged prostate.
Oh, I'll tell you what. For a week afterwards...
You weed in a bag?
I lay on the couch, and you know that moment where it's just watching, like, loads of box sets, one after another, and I just... You know at that point you think, oh, I could really do... Oh, no. Honestly, my wife was bringing me pizza. It's the future. But the scary thing was, is when it comes out... No. When it comes out, the woman said, the nurse, not just a woman, just have a go at that, love. I'm lying there, and I said, is this going to hurt? And she went, no.
Hang on, can you just... is
What?
it in the...
It goes right up the tube, the urethra, and then it goes into your bladder.
The head of the penis unscrewed. And it's like a shower hose. It's like a shower.
It's a tube.
Same as mine.
It's a different attachment.
It's just a Jubilee
3 seconds,
clip.
massage.
A Jubilee clip, just
They're
tighten
handy.
it up.
Can we talk about them in a
Then
minute?
you could get, like a trigger hose. The kids love them.
Oh, yeah. I've got a novelty flower that goes like that. But it's a tube. It goes all the way up, and then they inflate a balloon inside your bladder so it doesn't just whoosh out.
Okay,
right?
yeah.
But when I was having it taken out, the woman, the nurse, I'm lying there, nude, on the bed, the full nakedness, right? I'm lying there, do you want to... And she went, yeah, no problem at all.
Because you're not body shy, are you?
Not so much. And she got the end of the tube, right?
Oh,
she was
God.
holding, and she wrapped her hand around that. And I thought...
Tied it to a door handle.
This is not... Well, you know the worst thing? As she was holding in the tubes there, and as she began to remove...
Did you do that?
Right? The worst thing was, right, the bed that I was on, she hadn't put the... She hadn't
put the brake
She
on?
hadn't put the brake on the casters.
Oh, it's got like a carry-on nurse
So
now.
she gave it a tug, right? And it literally, I was like that. And she actually was pulling me by the downstairs. She was pulling me
That's
across
how we
the
do
room.
the drag racing.
So, Lisa, do you know Tom?
No, only
Lisa,
from the
this is
radio.
Tom. You've done
Tom,
radio
it's
together?
lovely to see you. It really is.
Lisa,
And I
this
really
is-
like your look.
Well, that's very sweet of you.
No, I really mean it.
Which bit of it do you like?
Well, I just think you carry it beautifully, the whole thing. It's just a dream.
Am I blushing?
No, you know what's interesting is people who follow fashion, for my money, don't really know who they are. So
don't
when
know
you
anything
do something
about-
that's your own, an eccentric thing is... I know you're eccentric because I've listened to your work. But I like when somebody puts something together that isn't, I don't know, bought out of the window of a shop.
I can't buy anything out of the shop because,
Why?
well, I've got a 36 inside leg
Show off.
and a 31 waist.
A 31 one?
Yeah. In fact, the other day, I went to get a belt. I bought a belt, and he said, "Do you want a hole in it?" I went, "I'll leave it for now." And then I got home and tried the belt on. Never tried a belt on, really, but I thought I'd try it on. Realised I need loads of holes. And I had enough belt left over to, do something belt-like with probably another belt. And
2 belts.
Yeah, just need a buckle. And
Or some rudimentary S&M.
yeah.
Why not,
I had a spare table tennis ball knocking about. We've done bondage on the cheap in our gaff.
A simple a black swimming hat put over the face rather than on the top of the head with the eyes cut out and a zip. You've got yourself
a budget gimp mask.
Exactly.
How sexy is that?
You made it sound so easy to knock that up.
Yeah, this is like a filthy Blue Peter now.
But I went to a different place where I bought the belt and I said, well, it's a place that cut keys and repairs shoes. I've never understood why the same shop does both, but they always do.
Trophies, did he do trophies?
Yeah, and he engraved stuff as well.
They get very angry if you go into those shops and say, are they for sale or have you just won loads of trophies for cutting keys?
Yeah, you're really good at
They
it.
get furious. Absolutely furious.
Well, if you do it on a daily basis,
Yeah. Get out.
here he comes.
Here he comes again.
You come in and he's always behind the counter. You go, I know you're there.
So, yes,
These trophies.
She went into the separate shop.
I went into the separate shop and I said, I presume you can put holes in belts. And he went, yeah. So I had my belt with me and like trousers that were flapping about. And I took my belt off and said, can you put... And I put my finger where I wanted the hole. And I said, can you put a hole there? And he obliged and said, that's £1.
A
£1 for a hole. I mean, technically, I'm giving them a bit of leather. May I remind them? And I thought, well, if it costs, I'll have 2 holes because, you might, depending on things and that.
Is it 2 holes for £1 or is it
He said
another
£2.
£1? It's £2.
You know what you should have done? Should have put a grand down and gone, right, get busy.
I want that perforated. I what it looked like.
Like a fly's eye.
Did the trousers drop at the
No, well, I had to pay the man, but I mean, I thought tightening your belt was a metaphor for saving money. I didn't expect to be.
Well, the danger is the tool to do that is probably 30 quid. And I once, I don't know if you've ever been in a situation, needed an ISDN line crimping. So
I've got that tool.
Well, I went to Maplin's.
Hang on, what do you mean?
Like you know when the internet goes straight in the computer.
Yeah.
So you know the little plug that goes on the end.
Yeah.
Well, mine was frayed, so I had to cut it. And so I went to Maplin's and said, "Can you sort my thing out?" And they said, "Oh, you needed an ISDN line crimping wrench for that." And I said, "Well, do you have one?" Yeah. So they said, "Well, you can buy one." So it's 25 quid. So I bought it. I then crimped my ISDN line end bit. And would you believe it? I've never had to do it again.
Did you not take it back and go, "This doesn't work"? Ka-ching.
I could have done that.
Yeah.
I should have thought out.
Women do that with tops, don't they? I don't mean to generalise, but I've got female friends that buy tops, wear them and take them back.
Used to be able to go to Marks and Spencer's and pick up a jumper and then go up to the refunds department and say, "Oh, sorry, it's an unwanted present." And you'd say, and they say, "Have you got the receipt?" And you go, "Oh, sorry, no, it was a present." And they go, "Well, all right." And then you swap it for something else.
It's still in its original wrapping.
I think virtually everyone I knew at the University of Kent was wearing jumpers obtained in that process. I think they're all over it now, by the way. Yeah.
Well, I used to work in a Borders before it went under, and the policy was if someone brought something back but didn't have a proof for purchase, if they were a real pain in the arse about it, you would give them the refund. So you had to judge how likely they were to make a scene, basically. So if
At least that's not dumbing down. That's leaving you in charge of... I mean, I guess it's completely wide open to all your mates coming in, like, "Oh, don't read..."
You just have to, because it was in Bristol as well, so you get some people who were just like that all the time anyway. But you'd have to kind of...
It's not just Bristol.
You'd have the look in someone's eye and you think, they're going to kick
Hang
off.
on, can I take you back? When you say they were just like that all the time, like what?
Well, sort of always shouting. As opposed to in moments of high tension.
Really, is it quite shouty, Bristol?
Not in a threatening way, in a kind of, "Oh my God, what's that?" It's a cash machine, you know, kind of. So people just, you know, you have to remember with Bristol, it's a city technically, but one inhabited by 600,000 people who, in all honesty, should be living on farms. So the sort of the influx of goods and services has to be drip fed to them. Otherwise, they get.
So it's high anxiety then at all times.
Oh, it's madness. There's a unique type of West Country madness, I think.
But it's freaky now with that shopping centre. It's outdoors, but it's indoors.
Cabot Circus, where it rains on the inside.
Yeah, that's right. Freaky.
I shan't go in there. I shan't go in there. It's not right by God, I say.
Is it a Bristolian god?
No, if God would be
Is there
Bristolian...
any evidence in the creation of the universe that makes you think Bristolian?
Well, he shouts a lot, doesn't he? God?
Yeah.
So that would...
Is that what you hear?
Well,
Don't pay him the £2. Don't pay him. Take the thing and stab it in his neck. Go on. Take your belt off and drop your trousers. That's what God
exactly
said.
what I heard.
Did you? You didn't drop them though.
The trousers?
The trousers.
No, I kept my dignity.
Oh, you see, that's the joy of I do this thing now at, you know, the...
Are you going to do a drop in your trousers anecdote?
Yes.
Good.
It's got all the hallmarks of it, hasn't it?
No, it's more of advice, really. I drop my trousers a lot because it's hilarious. And one of the joys of having a 5-year-old thinks it's hilarious. The mother, not so much. This is the way I fight back against terrorism. I think I could leave that there, really, couldn't I? No, when they're doing the security at the airport, if the shoes come off and they go, right, take the belt off, I go, really, the belt? Do I look like a terrorist? Take the belt off, sir. Well, I take the belt off, and then whoomph, the trousers come down.
In the 80s, you could quite often, you'll remember this, Lisa, because we're the elder statesmen around this table, aren't we?
I'm impressed.
We're in their 40s. Do you know John, by the way? He's about
John, it's
he's
lovely
about 12 years
to
old.
meet
Do you
you.
want, can I slip in a fun fact?
Yeah.
I think I used to go out with someone who lived on your dad's road.
Welcome to my world. Really? Really?
Or may have been your road.
Go on.
In Kingston upon Thames.
Yeah.
Coombe.
You're steady.
Coombe.
Everyone will be round there.
Kumbaya, my lord. It's always nice to say a hymn before you give out someone's address.
Who's that singing to me then? Who's that? Who's that bloody singing my song?
That'll be right.
But in that vibe,
Are you-
near Ronnie Wood.
Oh, up at the top of the road.
Up at the top of the road. And when they moved in, so she was 18 and her sister was 16, Ronnie Wood came
and took his pick.
That one, now.
Let's be honest.
Did he swoop out of a tree?
Just took one. On a world tour.
He
She came back, she looked like Bridget Bardot without the makeup, with all cats around her.
He came to the house and said, introduced himself and said, we've just moved in, we're having a bit of a do and there's going to be a bit of noise, but if you want to come, you're welcome. And her parents were sort of quite well-to-do and had no idea who this man was, thought he was some oik. And they were like...
Got that right.
That's one of the Rolling Stones band, the famous band, can we please go? And they, of course, they weren't allowed to go because you can't go for a party with the Rolling Stones.
Dad went.
Did he?
Yeah, he wasn't invited. Ronnie Wood's having a do at the top of the road. I'm going, Pauline. And disappeared for approximately 4.5, 5 hours.
Well, I thought you were going to say weeks then.
If only that were true.
I would pay money to see that.
He came back in a terrible state. It's terrific fun, actually. I had a laugh. That's all he'd say.
I like the idea that a week later, Ronnie Wood was dressed in a Pringle sweater, full golf clubs. There's Brucey.
Taking
You go on, Ronnie. And him just off his face on heroin, just swinging the club around. I believe he did just to indulge. That's not libelous.
Terrific skin.
Oh, yes.
Always a sign.
That's the great thing about heroin.
Yeah, absolutely. The ridiculous things you know about stuff, isn't it? It's like a wonderful
mind all
skin.
that, yeah.
Luminescent.
Yeah, exactly. The laboratoire garden in Paris.
I was out in Bath city centre once, and I was walking along, and we saw Nicolas Cage.
Shut.
True.
The F.
Who has a castle? He has
a castle near Bath.
Castle down that way.
So he's walking through the centre of Bath.
Turned on the lights. Turned on the Christmas
Can
lights.
we have a light with you where we know if this is going to be utter
Or I'll do a truth. It's true.
Nicolas Cage.
He
Has
turned
got
on
an
the Christmas.
estate outside Bath.
Yeah, so he's walking down the centre of Bath on a Saturday afternoon, so it's packed. He's got a bright red velvet suit on.
Look at me.
He's got 6
What, like a suit
chihuahuas.
suit or
yeah,
a
suit,
onesie?
properly tailored suit. 6 chihuahuas on 6 leads and dark glasses, because you don't want to get recognised. And it was so funny. He couldn't have brought more attention on himself if he tried.
He lost all his money, didn't he?
Did he?
Yeah, he had a massive... I know my Nicolas Cage facts. Yeah, somebody said to me once, they went, you look a bit like Nicolas Cage, and like that, see that right there? Like that. And before I had a chance to go, oh, thanks, mate. And Prince Charles.
What, spliced together?
Look at that with my ears. Look at that. It's a perfect composite of Nicolas Cage and Prince Charles.
I can see that. If you want any beverages, you can ask them because we're a bit.
Yeah, I'll
parched.
have a bit more,
Do you
yeah.
want, what are you having in there? Lime and soda or something?
I'll have some more coffee if I
You
may.
have a Guinness, JR. Do people call you JR?
Some people do.
Do they?
Yeah.
So I'm not the first.
And they've all lived to tell the tale. So yeah.
JR.
I like
JR's pretty cool.
It's pretty
Would people
chilled.
call you TW? No, they wouldn't, would they? Twiggy? Twigglesworth? Wriggler?
TW, isn't that an
Wriggler?
airline?
The Wriggler. Like a bloke with a speech, Batman with a speech impediment. My heart's number. The Wriggler. The Wriggler. The Wriggler. The Wriggler. What is it, Batman? The Wriggler. No, the Wriggler.
It isn't.
Wriggler.
Someone's got a great nickname for you.
Oh, yeah?
John Richardson calls you Tom Marvolo Wrigglesworth.
Not bad.
What does that mean?
Well, clearly no one in here is obsessed with Harry Potter, as I am obsessed with.
This is where your youth is going to come into play. Because
So-
we're so not Harry Potter.
Yeah, because I'm the
Oh,
key
no, I am.
demographic.
Yeah.
I did a gig in a dining room of Harry Potter where I didn't know.
You did a gig at Hogwarts.
Yeah. Well, it's a real place.
A corporate for Gryffindor. How many galleons did they pay you?
Yeah, what was in the goodie bag? One of those broomsticks.
It's in the law courts of London. In the Temple, where all the lawyers and barristers...
The Royal Courts of Justice, in there?
It's in there, yeah. And there's suits of armour on the wall, and it doesn't look weird.
Because they come alive.
That's how opulent it is. It's remarkable. And the bloke was showing me all the stuff. He was pointing out where everything's from and stuff. And like all the tables apparently were one of Sir Francis Drake's ships. The whole place is really posh, right? I mean, this guy was... oh, here we are, look. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. This chap, right, was pointing out all these treasures that were in this room, and I've really freaked out. And I'd never felt more working class in my life because he was so posh. He was so posh that he sucked the words back in after he spoke. You know, lovely to meet you. So posh, really bad. And he's pointing out stuff, and then he sort of stops and he goes, I've been told that I must show you the cutlery. And afterwards I realised, right, that it was just nice cutlery from Sheffield, and I'm from Sheffield, and when you're from Sheffield, people show you cutlery. It's really normal.
I think that's a mugging.
No. They really do.
Where you go, people are nice.
They show you cutlery.
Oh, yes, it's a lovely one.
The people from Sheffield, we go, yeah, good, yeah. It's sort of a normal social dance. You get used to it. But at the time, you know, when you're feeling out of place and uncomfortable and you misread everything because you're just out of your comfort zone, I was so overwhelmed at the sort of chasm of class between me and this posh guy that was sucking in his words that when he said, and I simply must show you the cutlery, I thought, oh my God, this bloke thinks I've never seen a knife and fork before. This cannot go well. I think it turns out I've just been booked to eat pâté with my face. It's all right.
So just give it to you. You won't be needing these.
Come on.
You probably haven't. I think it's about
The entertainment for tonight.
I used to think when I was a kid, I used to think that you only had so many words you could say in your life.
Really?
And now you've just run out.
You mean before you die?
You're the only one who got it. But I actually did think that, and I also think... No one's ever done that to me before. It's brilliant. Tonight's so brilliant.
Have you ever done anything for that laugh that you won't even be there to you won't be there when people laugh at it, but you'll plant something for someone to find because you imagine what that's going to be like?
I can imagine. This might be a question for Ross Noble.
Yeah. Every time I go into a hotel room, every time I go in, I get the Bible and I write, "All the best, love God." And then just leave it.
Routine.
I'm never going to say that. Yeah. But I know that's going to keep giving, giving.
See, that for me is an act of supreme generosity.
But there was one day, right, where I was walking down the street, I was with my wife, and just for my own amusement, there was two blokes walking the other way, and I went, oh my God, don't look now. And she went, what? And I went, purely for my own amusement, I went, don't look now. And she, who have you seen? And I went, it's Ben and Jerry off the ice cream, right? Just, why wouldn't it be? And these two blokes, now, God bless her, right? I was about to say it, I didn't really, but then I forgot, I got distracted. And then, imagine, 3 or 4 days later, we're at a party, and somebody went, I never guess who I saw, and it was some celebrity spot. And I hear my missus, in front of everyone, go, who was it you saw the other day?
Busted.
Yeah. And she went, no, who was it? And I couldn't turn around going, oh, no, I was taking the piss out of you. And I thought, I'm just going to go with this. Because if I go in front of everyone, then she's going to be furious with me. So I'll just Ben and Jerry off the ice cream, right? And then, of course, the questions. How did you know it was them? What was that?
I played a prank on the wife recently. I keep a wife.
The same wife?
And, no, different. And,
we have a timeshare system.
That's beautifully. And we've got a piano, right? And we got it about 5 years ago. And when we got it, we were moving it from Sheffield, and it would need tuning upon arrival, as they always do, because once you've shifted them, they jiggle out of tune. So I was on the lookout for a piano tuner, and I was Googling it. And back in the day, blind people used to tune pianos. That was what blind people...
Yeah, we had a blind person tuned our piano.
Legitimate job. And I wanted a blind person to come and tune ours, right?
Stevie Wonder, just a piano tuner, got arrogant.
Yeah. And I Googled it, and there were no blind piano tuners in East London, right? This is 5 years ago, and I've had this same woman come round every year, but Lulu's always been at work, my wife.
Lulu?
Yeah. And that's the name. Yeah. 3, 2, 1. The piano tuner was coming round, right? And I had to go out, and I said to Lulu, the piano tuner's coming round at 11. Make sure you let him in. And luckily, I was turning away from her because she said, "Oh, the piano tuner, she's blind, isn't she?" And I thought, no, but yeah. And look, I was not folding socks. That would be far too. I was putting socks in a drawer. Pairing at best. And I said, yeah, the piano tuner's blind. Look, I was looking away so I could like bite my tongue off to stop me laughing because I went away to do whatever I was going to do, and I got a furious text from the wife. Informing me that the piano tuner's not blind. She'd answered the door.
She parked her car outside.
Her first thought was, I don't need to dress.
I went to...
It's a great excuse if you got caught naked with the piano. She's blind.
She'd cleared the hall.
Dog biscuits down for the Labrador.
I was in a world of trouble. But I didn't realise how, you make an innocent prank like that and it can get out of hand sometimes.
Yeah. I think the dream is to marry a prank with a present. And I had a girl I was going out with a decade ago.
Prankant?
A prankant. A present. No, that doesn't work. Yeah, we'll call it a present. A presank. She had always wanted like a skeleton, like that you get in a. She's into science.
A medical one.
A medical skeleton, not an actual one. Didn't kill a man. And she went away on holiday, and I thought, oh great. So I managed to source a skeleton from Germany, and they're quite expensive, and I got them shipped over.
Sourced it? Did you mean
you
looked
must
up
have
on the
really
internet?
loved her. They're very expensive.
Yeah.
Gunther van Hagen.
It wasn't like a plasticised man.
Full size?
Yeah, full size.
Yeah.
From Germany?
From Germany, because I went on eBay, and that was the only... I didn't ask too many questions. Someone offers you a skeleton for under 100 quid, Tom.
There's a website called Bones, yeah?
But she was away on holiday, and it was the year that the floods hit Gloucester and Cheltenham and Tewkesbury, and she lived in Cheltenham. So she rang me up in a real panic from like Thailand and said, my house might not be there, can you go and check? So I went, and I had a spare key. So I went into a house, it was all fine. And so I erected the skeleton in the bedroom. And then I had an idea. So I laid it down on the bed and wrote a note saying, came to check the house, everything was fine. Then the floods came. If you don't get back in time, then I love you very much. And she put the note in the skeleton's hand like that, so she'd think it was me. She didn't take it that well.
One of the reasons that Selfridges took off as a department store was it provided facilities for women to use the toilet, because nowhere in London could you do it. So women, being tea drinkers at the time, would go round to take tea, so they'd be within somebody's house who hopefully had a closet, and then they could go home. But they couldn't go out shopping in case they needed a wee, because there was nowhere to go.
That's absolutely true. When public conveniences were first built in London, they were only built for men. If it was just deemed... just socially unacceptable that a woman would urinate in a public convenience. That's the sort of insanity of Victorian London.
And basically, ITV have built a whole drama leading up to that event.
But is that what it's going to happen?
Of course it is. That's all it's going to be. Literally,
the opening of the ladies'
I've been watching that thinking, why haven't they mentioned it?
The Christmas special is him going, women could piss in here. It's good work.
Now you can't get a lottery grant. That's one of the things you have to... In order to have a lottery grant, you've got to have a women's toilet facility.
What, have you applied for a grant for?
No, what if you need a grant to build a women's toilet? Sorry, it's catch-22. Oh, it's happened again.
Down the road from us, right, I live on Commercial Road, because I was thinking, the wife was banging on about getting a new toilet recently, and I've kept her at bay. And
Toilet!
Indoors. I want it indoors this time.
You do have a Victorian policy.
exactly. What's wrong with work?
And you told her I found this excellent blind plumber.
What are you doing out of the barn? You're menstruating. Get back in the barn.
I don't want to see you.
You have to muck her out in the morning.
Well, does she want a new one, like a downstairs?
She wanted a new one, and I can't imagine buying a new toilet. I mean, there's absolutely nothing wrong with the present setup.
What's her reasoning then?
She's just part of the modern consumer generation.
Is it just an aesthetic thing? She wants a nicer
She wants
looking
one
loo.
of them that hovers off.
They don't exist.
Hoverbox.
Makes the floor look bigger.
It goes around with you. Every now and then you...
Marty, we're going back to I'm having a poo dog.
How high can you go on a hoverbug?
Oh!
Ironically,
Look!
Don't look.
have you offered her the compromise of a high-quality luxury seat, a new seat? It could be
That is a good compromise, isn't it? Yeah. No, I haven't done
because you could get one that was slightly larger than the toilet, so you couldn't, so that it takes up the space, so you can't see the porcelain that so offends her.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
But does she want a wall mounted with a concealed system?
But
A false wall
I've
scenario?
explained to her that it's already on a false wall, Alan.
Is
So
it?
there's no way we can build in the necessary support to what is already a false wall situation. You need a solid wall for the anchor points.
So what, you need a steel in there, you need a steel.
Yeah, it's madness. Madness lies that way. But there's a shop.
But surely you can lay your hands on some steel, Tom.
Don't tell the wife.
It's this toilet made out of cutlery.
Nasty.
We've got a bath store. It's called the Bath Store, and they're nationwide. And we've lived there
They're
for
a
5
chain.
years.
You slay me.
We've lived there for 5 years. 5 years we've lived there, right? And there has always been a sale on. I don't know what's going on. I realised the other day that it might just be management policy to always have sale now on in the window, just to sort of prevent innocent members of the public thinking it was a really clean, open plan public convenience. Just wandering in.
Mustn't it?
Surely,
Yeah.
And
surely.
I was sorry to interrupt, but I was talking to a lady that works in the bed section in the IKEA store.
You could live in IKEA, couldn't
And,
you?
well, people come in and they, shall we say, test the beds on a regular.
They wet the bed.
Mainly solo gentlemen go in there and
Shag the mattresses, put the cocks between the mattresses and the...
A friend of mine worked in La Senza,
Shut up.
and a guy used to come to
La Senza is a lingerie
a lingerie
establishment.
zone. Ed chewed a pole outside.
That's not a very sexy way of describing. I'm going to the lingerie zone. You're in luck.
Are you interested in anything?
Prepare yourself.
Clinical.
I'm coming to your lingerie zone.
And a man was known to the security, and he would go up to the till and test the till, masturbate on the till. I've said it.
Would he use the till in any way?
No, he would just stand there because the till was about that high, and he would be very
Looking in the
rude.
eye.
Looking in the eye.
Granville, Granville, fetch your cloth.
Oh, there's somebody at the till. He's looking at the checkout.
The lady.
Lady.
And they caught him, they arrested him, it went to court, and my friend got £50 compensation, which she said made it far worse. To have essentially been paid 50 quid for a guy to have jacked off at your till. It'd be better to nothing. Nothing.
But the trouble is, at least she didn't work in the post office, because when he came in, it'd be like that lottery of Cash in number 4. No. Still, at least you've got the glass. You've got the glass.
You've got the glass.
It's
That's what it's
win-win.
for.
It's win-win. Is that what it's for? People who just can't help themselves. I love stamps.
So were you a professional tarot reader?
No.
Can you read palms?
No. I can't read anything.
You're a charlatan, sir.
They all are. I needed a job when I was at university.
Where were you at university?
Salford. And I went to the job centre. Which seems mad.
There was a card saying...
There was a card.
Tarot reader
It
vacancy.
didn't say that. It said telephone operator. It was like working from home that really sort of floated my boat. Yeah. And I thought, that sounds fine.
say.
I'll do anything within, moral reasoning.
Within 15 feet of my bed.
Yeah. So it was such a ruse, right? So I used to be in the living room, smoking and drinking and playing guitars, and then the phone would ring, and I'd go, excuse me. And I'd
Who are
ring
you
to
saying
the-
excuse me to?
the friends.
Tricia. Excuse me, Tricia. I'll leave you with those stamps. I've just got to.
I'm as keen to know who the father is as much as the next one.
Don't speak. 5 minutes.
Dash into the other room, take a call, and it would be Mary from Tunbridge Wells, who's got a problem with her marriage and would like some sort of guidance at 59p a minute. And she was getting through to an 18-year-old me. I mean, it was harrowing. I was given cards, I was given 2 hours...
It's harrowing. Shut your face. Sorry, carry on.
And it was great. They used to phone up. I mean, it was tragic, really, because a lot of people used to phone up with financial troubles. So I'd be paid to keep them on the phone, but at the same time, trying to leave coded messages that maybe phoning 18-year-old chumps at 59p a minute is never the answer to a fiscal crisis.
It's a telephone tarot.
Yeah, it used to be advertised in the back of the newspaper.
You
like,
don't
just
actually
before the sport.
need a pack of tarot
No,
cards,
you don't.
do
They used to stay in the drawer. I had to buy a set, company rules.
It's got quite an easy job to get at the job centre when you just go, I will get the job.
Yeah.
We have attempted, if you had, like, maybe you had the kettle on and you go, it's the hangman, sorry, you're going to die. Bye.
Well, listen, ladies and gentlemen, we are out of time for tonight's conversation, so please will you thank with me my guests, John Robbins, from Wrigglesworth, Liza Tarbuck, Ross Noble. Good night.